Hi guys, welcome back. As promised, here comes the video on personal training, how to become one and what it's like to be a personal trainer. If you haven't seen my previous video on how to become an online bodybuilding coach and turn your fitness hobby into a career, check that out. I've got a lot of useful information in there from things I've learned from going through it all myself the hard way, learning myself. Today I want to talk about personal training and what it actually entails. And even if you don't want to be a personal trainer, keep watching this because it's really interesting on how the personal training structure works and how you make money from it, because I was completely unaware of how any of it works beforehand and what is actually required to be a personal trainer and how you make money. So let's get into it. So firstly, you need to get qualified. No gym will hire you unless you are a qualified level 3 reps qualified personal trainer. This is because it allows you to get insurance and it shows you actually know the basics of how to train people safely and actually understand the basics of anatomy and physiology. I would suggest the Study Active course I went on was amazing. I started it in June, I finished it in November, and I honestly could have done it quicker than that. Otherwise you can do crash courses in actual colleges and they're like a month or 6 weeks long if you're in a rush it. But mine was an online course with workshops and exams in person, which were great. I would say steer clear of all online exams and that, because my friend did a course that was entirely online. He had to submit all of his work online and it was much more awkward to do. I helped him record some of his exams and the marking time for them takes forever, and one time he missed out one small thing from the thing and he had to redo the entire thing, which took like 5 hours, a lot of work. So honestly, I would go for part online, part in person. So Study Active is great. The course cost about £800 if you pay up front. I got a student loan for it, so it was like £1,200 because I couldn't afford it at the time at all. So that's first things first, you have to get qualified. The qualification is, if you're smart, it's a piece of piss, right? Some people say it's really hard. It's not hard at all. Level 2 is, if you don't pass level 2, you have to be some of the stupidest people on earth. The level 3 is the actual training side of it. If you're good at training, piece of piss, honestly, the training side's easy. The anatomy and physiology section, quite substantially harder, and you actually have to do a decent amount of studying to pass that. But again, overall, it's really not that hard. I crammed like 3 days of studying in at the very end before my exam. Before that, I'd done literally none, and I passed quite easily. So that's the qualification done. Then you need to get yourself a job. Now this is tricky. I applied for so many gyms, and actually I got a lot of interviews and stuff, which is really great. I got like 4 different interviews from Pure Gym. I got a few from like David Lloyd and all that. So I had a lot of choice. I won from Simply Gym. The only reason that was is because I was able to offer them all of my time because I'm self-employed, and my current job is coaching people. Gyms aren't going to really hire you unless you can be available a lot, because you need to be around at all sorts of random times of the day. And you need to be able to fit into their work rota as well. So that can be kind of tricky. So I mean, I was lucky because I already had my coaching as a base, and that was a good selling point that I could talk about in interviews and actually get an interview in the first place, because I've got experience. That's what any job wants, is experience. You know, the qualification doesn't mean much to them. You need it, but it doesn't. Once you've done it, you realise you don't learn much from the qualification in reality. What you need is real life experience, and luckily I had that. So maybe put on your CVs like you've trained friends and family to get great results, all that sort of stuff in your CV. That might definitely help. And just really emphasise fitness as your background, and that it's what you really want to do and your passion. And always make a covering letter, okay? Never send an application without a covering letter. That is so important. If you send a CV without one, in my opinion, if I was an employer and I got a CV and no covering letter, I just think I'm just going to put that to the side. They can't even be asked to explain why they want this job, so I'm going to look at someone else first. And I think that's what a lot of employers do actually do. So first things first. Then when you get a job, what can you expect from the job? How do you make money from the job? And this is where I learned a lot. So most gyms nowadays, especially in the UK, and I'm sure it's the same in America and other places, because Pure Gym are now moving over to America, which I work for currently. The way they're all structured is you do a certain amount of hours work for them, and you either get paid a salary for it, and then you have to pay the gym rent to use their facilities. So for example, you might get paid £9 an hour or whatever to work there for 12 hours a week or 15 hours a week or 18 hours a week. That work would involve things like manning a reception, making sure the gym's clean, helping people out with all sorts of things, giving people inductions and tours, doing classes. Almost every gym now wants you to be able to teach classes. So if you're not willing to stand in front of a group of people and do legs, bums and tums, or hit circuit cardio, then this isn't the job for you, because you have to do that. It's part of it. So the way a lot of other gyms work as well is, so you'll get that salary, and then at the end of the month you might have to pay, say, £500 rent to be able to use their facilities to sell your PT services. So the gym actively generally makes a net profit off of you anyway. There's some tax laws changing in April, which is changing things around a lot, so everyone will be on that system. But currently I'm on the system that's, it's going to be changing anyway, where you do your 12 hours a week I'm doing currently, and you get paid nothing for it. And a lot of gyms are like this. They'll do your like 15 hours, 12 hours. One of them wanted 18 hours out of me for nothing, and I was like, no. And for that, then you don't have to pay rent fees, so you can PT out of there for free by working for them. So if you didn't realize, that's how almost every gym works now. Some gyms are different. So some gyms, what they will do is they will charge you a certain percentage of what you're selling your PT for. So for each client, they might want 20% of what you're charging them. So some smaller gym chains or that sort of thing, or individual gyms may work that way. They all depend, but you can't just go into a gym and start personal training people out of there without that gym's permission, because you're using their product, their service, their gym, to sell your services yourself and make money out of them. They're not happy with that unless they're getting something from it, which is completely understandable. So because of that, I've been there for 3 weeks now, and for the first pretty much 3 weeks, I've made no money at all, nothing. I've actually made a loss because I have to get the train there, and it kind of sucks. But it's because you have to gain, like I was talking about in my previous video, you have to build up that reputation. People have to know who you are in the gym. People have to see you training in the gym. People have to see you training other people in the gym. And you have to go around and talk to a lot of people. So there's like a funnel system. It's really, everyone talks about this. If you talk to 100 people, 10 people might want a consultation, and out of those 10 people, like 3 or 4 might want actual personal training. For me, what I do is I go around and I simply straight up offer free training sessions and consultations to people. A lot of people take that, a lot of people, or sometimes people will come up to you and ask, are you a PT? What do you do for me? What can you do for me? Always be ready to instantly reel them in, have your sales spiel ready, tell them what you can do for them, tell them you can, all this sort of stuff that you're specializing in. As a PT, you want to specialize in an area as well. So in our gym, I'm like the main bodybuilding personal trainer. We've got a woman who she just does all sorts of fitness-based stuff. She does a lot of lifting as well. We've got a guy who's into fighting training, and another guy as well. So we all sort of specialize in a certain area, and it means you can tailor your training and not have to compete with your fellow workmates, because you don't want your work environment to be one where you're actively trying to steal clients from each other and hate each other. That's just a shit way to be, I think. So what I've done is I give everyone a free trial consultation, figure out what they want from their experience while I'm training them, and giving them, and I'll show them what I can offer in the training session. So I generally try and overload them with information. Now some people say you shouldn't give away too many of your secrets, but I tend to give them so much information that they're like, they realize how little they know, how much they'd benefit from paying me to train them. So that's how I've done it. And so far, all but one of the people I've given a free trial to have actually signed up for a bunch of sessions. In terms of structuring how you get paid and how you get sessions, there's 2 ways to do it. You can do it by monthly direct debit, so people will sign up for, say, 4 sessions a month, and they'll pay you at the start of each month for those 4 sessions, and it'll just be rolling every month, and they'll do that for as long as they feel necessary. Some people might just buy blocks of sessions, so some people might buy 10 sessions. So I sell 4 sessions in a training plan, 10 sessions in a training plan, and 15 sessions a training plan, and 3 months of online coaching with it. And also on top of that, they can just buy blocks of sessions on their own. So you sell little packages. You never really want to sell 1 hour of PT at a time, because it's just awkward. It's awkward to get the money, and you always want to get paid up front. So it's much better to sell at least 4 or 5 sessions at once. If someone doesn't just want 1 session, it's kind of pointless. They're going to need a couple to get what they want. But yeah, if you are looking for a job in personal training, that's how I'd structure it so far, and that's what I've done in my first couple of weeks. I'm going to get back to you in a couple of weeks' time or a month's time and see how I'm progressing and how I'm doing with it all, and any new tips I have for personal trainers out there just getting started or struggling. But yeah, essentially it's going good, but you just have to expect that when you get started, you'll make nothing and you have to work for nothing. So it's good to have a base income there that you can actually be able to do that. So some of the guys in the gym have got another job already and they're working all day 9 to 5, then coming to the gym and doing shifts at the gym and then training people on top of that. So there's a lot of work for them. But now they're starting to pick up clients, they're able to drop their hours off work. So that's one way you could do it. But essentially, yeah, it's hard. It is hard. And it's not as, there's no 6-figure salary in this job. You have to really enjoy what you're doing. And you know, at a push, you can maybe earn 30 to 40K if you work a lot. You more want to do this job because you enjoy it. And I love this job already. Like, I'm really enjoying it. And I'm glad I decided to switch from retail, which is awful, into fitness as a career. Mostly because my health has been so much better. I'm always active now. I'm always in the gym. I'm always training people or training myself. I'm doing what I love. So if gym and fitness and training is really what you love and you want to do it all day, every day, and at the beginning not get willing to be paid much for it, then go for it, really go for it. But make sure you learn a lot, you look the part, you know, you've got to look the part, otherwise no one's going to hire you as well, and you know your shit, and you're ready to really, you know, send a sales bill to them. But anyway, I hope this again helped you guys a lot, and there's going to be much more different videos coming soon, lots of training stuff. I am prepping for a bodybuilding contest, seriously this time. I'm prepping 5 months out with a coach, and whereas I'm at much lower body fat than I started, and I'm bigger than I started last year. Last year I started in February, late February that was. I was really out of shape. I wasn't disciplined, I didn't have a proper coach, and that's why I was nowhere near ready. Also, with all the things with moving and the job situation and everything that happened, I wasn't in the right mindset. This time, I'm working in a gym and coaching is my job. I'm so focused. I'm ready to show what I've really got. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are too, and this year's gonna be a good one. So thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks to people who stuck with me throughout the years, and I'll catch you next time. Bicep finish.